listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I am AJ Walsh, and I am glad to be here with you, and we're so grateful that you are here with us. It's going to be a great show this morning. We have two co-hosts ready, chomping at the bit to get into all of the unpacking that we have to do this morning here live on CKLU 96.7 FM, also streaming at cklu.ca. Just click on the Radio Player Canada app logo and you're streaming. Also download that same Radio Player Canada app logo and you can take us with you anytime, anywhere and listen to us on your favorite device. Also listen to the other great programming that you can find right on CKLU any time of the day. 24/7 broadcasting worldwide on the web. And we've been doing it since 1984 on the radio, more recently on the internet. However, we started at the original Laurentian campus up on the hill, Ramsey Lake Road, in a little trailer. And now we're located downtown in the old Telegraph building, which is now part of the new MacEwan School of Architecture, corner of Elgin and Elm Street. We're also streaming on facebooklive.com/Sudbury News. Also YouTube Live we're at facebook.com/Sudbury News and youtube.com/Sudbury News. And we are grateful for the moderators of these particular platforms, and we're also grateful for the platforms themselves. Without such, we would not be able to have this conversation, which is Sudbury News, community conversation. And speaking of that, I'm just going to welcome our two co-hosts today and make sure that I can get the volume of Nick, who's on here, get her set, and then Billy's volume should be working okay. So good morning, Billy. Good morning, Nick. How are you guys feeling? First of all, Nick, how you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. You know what's funny? When you were just talking, I was thinking, how come all these great things always start from a trailer?
I don't know. Can you give some other examples?
Well, I'm pretty sure like Steve Jobs, he started in his garage. He was always in a garage. Sensi started in a trailer.
It did.
A few other things started in a trailer, but I guess I should have better examples.
Well, speaking of that, I know Billy wants to bring in the Rolling Stones mobile studio at some point.
Did not think of that.
But they didn't start there, but they actually used it. But yeah, you didn't think of that. Oh my God.
No. It kind of sparked the idea. There's that kind of idea that no one person ever changes the world, but that's not true. It always kind of starts with one person. Logically, that's how it sort of has to go. People don't.
Great point.
Synchronously come together. Well, I guess they kind of do in some ways too.
Yeah, but great point though. Like you said, a lot of people say one person, I'm only one person. But when you look at a lot of these things, like Steve Jobs in the trailer, or Nick's company, Sensi, or a lot of these things that just start with one person in their basement or in a trailer or just tinkering around. Tesla, let's say, he's one man. I think he pretty much did a doozy on the world, if you ask me.
I heard that he started in his garage too.
Tesla?
I know a garage and a trailer is not the same, but I'm going to check. Companies that started in a trailer.
Yeah, Tesla was an interesting one. He didn't need anything. He could just go in the middle of nowhere and create electricity. He was so brilliant. But yes, Monique, good morning. We might as well welcome in a lot of our early risers. Good morning, Monique. Hope you're having a great morning. Good morning, Judy. Good morning. Hope you're having a great morning. Same with you, Dario. Hope you're having a great morning. Happy Thursday. Yes, Thursday, March the 9th, 2023. Good morning, Diane, Bon matin, Nick, and Billy. Yes.
Morning.
Good morning, Diane.
Good morning. When you said Tesla, I was thinking of the Tesla company.
Elon Musk,
actually.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I should mention that. And that's the problem that we have these days with the name of the company, is that kind of takes away from Nikola Tesla, the one who actually almost invented electricity.
AC.
AC, alternate current. All we had at the time was direct current from our good friend who actually lived in Sudbury for a while.
He lived in Sudbury. I heard he was here.
He lived
Kinda
here
touring
for a
the
while.
mines and
Thomas
stuff like that.
Edison.
Yeah.
I think he lived
But
here.
they had a rivalry going, right?
They
were
had
trying
a
to
huge
Yes.
rivalry.
outdo each other. And
Yeah, he definitely
watch
lived
it?
here.
He had a really interesting documentary that was really cool.
Tesla or
Yeah, Tesla.
Edison? Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Nikola Tesla, almost erased from history in some ways, not really recognized. A lot of people have never heard of him, although everybody's lives are influenced by his inventions and what he's brought to the world. Other than he's up there with the game changers of the world. There's no doubt about it. Brian Poulin, good morning, Sudbury campers. Thanks for being with us. Okay, let's get started. We got a little bit of weather, some sports, gas prices. Surprise, surprise, or spoiler alert, we went up 10 cents-ish a liter over the course between yesterday and today. So hopefully you're able to gas up yesterday. But anyways, we'll be back with a little bit of weather and sports right after this. Sudbury Weather brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. For all things Sudbury weather, visit SudburyWeather.ca. Tongue-tied this morning for some reason. I'm trying to talk faster than I'm able to. -9 currently. It's also feeling like -17 with the wind chill. Today, mix of sun and cloud, becoming cloudy this morning. High of -1, wind chill -18 in the morning, high of -7 in the afternoon. Tonight, cloudy, 30% chance of flurries overnight. Wind northeast, 20 kilometers, gusting to 40. Low of -10, wind chill, -10 this evening and -17 overnight. Friday, which is tomorrow. It's Friday already. Tomorrow will be cloudy, 30% chance of flurries in the morning. A high of -5, wind chill, -18 in the morning and -12 in the afternoon. So still a little bit crispy. You know, you're walking on the little bit of ice outside with the snow, a little bit of crunch. So Saturday, mix of sun and cloud, high of -4. Sunday, -4, mix of sun and cloud, same thing again on Monday. Pretty much same thing on Tuesday, high of -3. And sunny on Wednesday, high of -2. I cannot believe this. If every forecast could be like this, I would be in my glory. Look at your satellite view over northern Ontario. A lot of clearing right in that strip, right from almost James Bay all the way down in Ontario, a strip of clearing, which we are a part of and we're grateful for. And if you're on the radio, I just described it. So that is your Sudbury weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with a little bit of sports right after this and more. Gas prices, maybe. There you go. Sudbury Sports brought to you by SudburySports.com. Tonight, the Five are in action at the Sudbury Arena, and they welcome back guard Braylon Rayson. He's signed back with the basketball team after a little stint with Turkey and Latvia, I believe. I believe that is. I just got to go down here. But Braylon is an amazing player. Sudbury 5 head coach and general manager Logan Stutz says Sudbury knows everything about him, and I know they are always excited to see him play. He's ready to take the city to a new level. I love Braylon Rayson's comment here. He goes, "Yo, what's up, Sudbury? The king is back. Championship or bust, y'all. With me? Let's get it." So that's Braylon Rayson, and he's looking forward to a championship. Yeah, so he spent a little bit of time Originally, he was part of the, if you want a little bit of history, he was part of the expansion draft, came in from the Windsor Express, and then played his college basketball with Central Michigan Chippewas. But yeah, he was away for a bit. Latvia, and I was right, Latvia and Turkey. So let's get set to support the Five tonight at the Sudbury Arena. Get out, get your tickets. You can go to greatersudbury.ca/tickets, or you could just get them at the box office if they're still available when you go to the game. They have cheap beer night, apparently. And if you want more information on that, all you have to do is visit the5.ca, and you can get more information on the game. Starts at 7:05 at the Sudbury Arena tonight. And yes, good morning, Vin. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. Sudbury Wolves were in action last night in the Sioux, and I got to get this all set up here. I haven't had a chance to do that this morning as we get set for the day. But the Sudbury Wolves in action last night. Get this. Can you guess the score, Billy?
I think I saw it, so I'm going to leave it to...
And Nick, can you guess the score for the Sudbury Wolves game last night?
0-0. No, that's impossible.
No, it wasn't 0-0, no. Close, though. It was 9-2.
Oh, I was really close.
Yeah, it was pretty close. So, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Wolves getting her done in the Sioux. And then they're back in action tomorrow night here in town. Let's see here. I already know this, but I got too many, what do you say, mouses or mice? If you have the computer mice. And there's like 3 for different computers. I keep grabbing the wrong ones when I need them. Anyways, so the Sioux lost, obviously, last night against Sudbury Wolves in epic proportion. So the Wolves are back in town Friday night against the London Lightning. It is Pride Night. Sudbury Wolves are hosting a Pride Night to celebrate and foster inclusiveness within our game and drive positive social change for our players, coaches, families, and fans. Hockey is for everyone. We are also excited to welcome for the first time, Gigi Vander Kuntz to join us for the ceremonial puck drop and to provide live entertainment on the MIC stage during intermissions. Join the Wolves this Friday as they continue to work on breaking down barriers, making hockey more inclusive, welcoming an environment for all. Friday night's game is sponsored by Canadian Blood Services. They'll be on hand with great prizes for lucky fans. They're also back in action on the following night in Barrie, taking on the Colts. But for tickets for this Friday's game, you can go to greatersudbury.ca/tickets. For more, you can visit the Wolves, SudburyWolves.com for more information. Catch that game on CKLU or in right here on CKLU. On CKLU or on Eastlink if you want to watch it live. But I would say get to the game and watch it. Sudbury Sports brought to you by SudburySports.com. That is that Sudbury Sports guy, Randy Pascal, and his website for all things Sudbury Sports. Visit SudburySports.com. We'll be back right after this. Okay, and we are back. As I just wanted to mention, some gas prices jumping up at Kingsway, keeping the gas prices low for now. 142.3 Pioneer, UPI Energy in Chelmsford, 143. Also Canadian Tire, Circle K in Chelmsford, keeping the gas prices a little lower. So if you want cheaper gas prices, it's one place on the Kingsway or Chelmsford. Other than that, Costco's up to 149.9, basically 150 everywhere else in the city. So hopefully you were able to gas up before today. All right.
I did.
You did, Nick?
I did.
Oh,
I gassed up
there you
because
go.
I was like on red line yesterday, and I was like, it's kind of expensive every time, and I'm like, oh, today's good. I think I gassed up at 137. I was like, okay, not that bad. Like, oh, this is sad. When I was in Europe, it was pretty expensive.
Really?
It was pretty expensive. I can't really remember the price, but it was more than what we're paying.
Well,
yeah, quite a bit, eh?
And are you able to do the translation from their currency and things like that? And it's in gallons and
it was
liters?
in liters. They do liters over there, so it made things even easier. And then it was in euros, which is more expensive than us, and it was still more expensive. So I was like, wow, this is really expensive.
For sure, yes. Well, good morning, David. Stay safe for sure. Thanks for being with us this morning. Way to go, Wolves. That was Vin. At first it said WTF, Wolves. So it said autocorrect, LOL. Yeah. We were talking about AI yesterday with Pierre Benum on the show. And he seemed to be very optimistic about AI and how it's going to change our world in a very positive way. And I was probably about the same, but more skeptical on the other side of things of how, things could actually get possibly screwed up in a lot of ways with AI and some of the dangers of it. And there's one example there, you know what I mean? It's just a small thing and it's autocorrect, and that's a form of AI, right? And so...
What I don't like is that everything that comes out is supposed to be great. And then it ends up not being so great. So that's the only thing is like, this is going to take away a lot of jobs. Like, I'm a marketer. I went to school for marketing. It literally replaces all of us in a second.
Yeah.
I think that's a direct... Oh.
No,
go ahead, Billy.
Sorry, go on. No, I was just going to say, I think like the natural progression, like if you take any kind of technology, like imagine when fire came out, it's like, at first it's probably terrible because people are getting burned and it's burning down villages and, but it just takes a while for people to get kind of up to speed on how to wrangle it.
And use it for benefit.
Really, I don't think people were, like when they created fire, when we were cavemans, were they really afraid? Like they were probably a little bit afraid, but they're like, wow, this is keeping us warm. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe.
well, there's
Actually,
different
you're right,
tribes probably. Some embraced it, some didn't. But I think the ones that embraced it, and they kind of leveled up with it. The other ones kind of stayed at that spot.
No, Randy's saying there's nothing positive about AI.
Well, Randy, you know what? The problem is that, guys, there is a group of people out there that are really evil, and you can believe this or not, but like there's people that aren't out for our own best interest.
Impossible.
They will have the best AI technology out there. That's what I'm afraid of. And that's always the case. So they're going to use it against us.
And so nothing wrong with to err on the side of caution is what Vince said. So I think we bring up a good point. So you could have fire. It's like the sun, right? The sun is a beautiful thing, obviously. We want sunny day. We're grateful that the sun is in our weather forecast, and it just makes your day so much better. However, if you're alone in the desert during the day and didn't have an umbrella or something like that and you're kind of lost, the sun wouldn't be your best friend for too long. And it could possibly kill you, right? So it's like anything, and that's what the point I was trying to make with Pierre yesterday is there is also going to be a dark side as well, and I think it's great to explore all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
We do need to be super cautious, though.
Like, there's tons of movies on it, how AI just takes over. Like,
as I said, iRobot.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we got to watch out for that.
I think so, too. Yeah, you have to with anything.
Happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen because they're creating them that they can think on their own.
Yep.
And now if they think we can just unplug the main machine, they'll be like, okay, you are now a threat. We must kill you.
And that's what Brian is saying. It's in a way that it does great things. Like you can write code in a quarter of the time or even less. It can write a whole program. And then you can go in and edit it afterwards kind of thing. So I do believe there are positive things about it. It's here. We're not doing it. You can't get rid of it. It's here now. It's going to get into our society in a big way. However, just coming out of university just recently myself, a lot of my studies were on the effects of, technology and how it affects our society. And we did talk about AI, talked about all kinds of other stuff that goes along with it. And if it's in the wrong hands, let's say, there are so many dangers, along with the other technologies that we have. It's almost like a perfect storm that we have, along with our big tech companies we have these days. What government is kind of shown that it's been capable to do during recent times, in terms of its citizens and causing them to do different things from a top-down point of view. When you add AI and you add some of the other technologies to it, some things could be scary.
Very scary.
Yeah.
It's also going to make people less social, because men are not going to go out there to find women. They're going to find a woman AI robot. And
For sure.
You know, there's some weird things happening with robots.
So AI scams right now are faking grandmothers' voices to scam their grandchildren out of money. Oh no.
Wow, here we go.
Yeah, and that's the deep fakes now, right? So you got these videos. So now let's say you try and prove that someone did something. This is scary. You say, look, I got them on tape. They're like, no, that's a deep fake. That's not me.
Yeah,
You
that's
created
not me.
that.
Now you're in prison.
Or yeah.
Now you're in prison.
And then who's got the cameras that are able to detect deep fakes or not, right?
Or
But
I did actually break into your house, and I'm like, that wasn't me.
yeah. I know.
Oh my gosh, guys. Dun dun
That-
dun dun.
Crazy stuff. So yeah, we're getting into a world where, like, your gut or your own ability to really understand good or evil or right and wrong, and really understand that you'll just be tossed to and fro like pizza dough up in the air kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that sense that you're talking about, I think that will ultimately be, need to be more developed in people. So people
Yeah.
are going to have that kind of, how do some of the cultures describe it, like a heart-centered kind of like BS detector.
Yeah, you need a BS detector. That's what it's going to be. An internal organic one that belongs to you, that's not a
like-
computer chip or something. And
Yeah,
that's going
we
to have to be the
Like,
case.
fact check, guys. Really, the government and these corporations are going to create something to help the people.
No, I don't think the governments are going to do it. The thing is,
No,
the
I
people
know.
are going to have to. So this
Hopefully.
is, I think, the showdown is going to come between like the people, and I think there's going to be a realization that the systems have led to this. Again, like you say, there's maybe a smaller sort of top of the pyramid that is not really as concerned about the people as, say, the people are.
Because right now we're using something like Facebook, and Facebook was full of fact checkers, and the people had no. We're not even playing on the same field here. The people had no voice because they were able to just shut it down.
Well, whoever's in charge of the fact checkers, right? It's the same thing. Whoever's got the power, whoever makes the law, whoever makes the regulations, and whatever. It is what it is. I was getting trained in SmartServe yesterday because I have to teach the SmartServe course for work, and talking about how in prohibition, alcohol used to be illegal and now it's legal, and then there's all these regulations, and it's okay if you have a license for this, and it's okay, and all these rules around alcohol, they're just created by people, but you can't do certain things. You can do certain things based on regulations. Whoever makes the regulations makes it normal. And then everyone just says it as if it's the way it is. So if the government just comes out and says, yeah, AI is doing this and whatever, that's the way it is. It's the law. It is what it is. And then a lot of people don't question that, right? And so our society is going to be going down that road, whether we like it or not.
And now AI won't have any emotions, so they just see
Yeah.
rules. They won't see that, okay, this is different because of this situation, where a human will have
Yeah.
emotions and maybe understand, but now they're just like, Nick, you are being arrested, you know? And if we want to talk about rules, like, I don't know if you guys talked about this, what's going on in Vancouver, but I'm not sure if they're putting these policies in place where these weed stores can now make and create and sell cocaine and legalize it.
Yeah, I had it on, was it this earlier this week, a video where they have the Alberta model of recovery rather than just give people drugs like the safe injection sites that we have here in town. And Alberta is doing the full enchilada from beginning to end of recovery, just like we talked about forever on this show. And they're basically had a huge conference. People from all over the world came, and the guy who was doing the reporting, Aaron Gunn, who I really appreciate his independent reporting, he's from BC. So he was talking to these people in Alberta and saying, look, let's contrast this between what they're doing in BC and what you guys are doing. Two provinces right next door with two absolutely opposite ways of dealing with the same issue.
What's going on in BC is kind of crazy. They also are like cracking down on vaccinations again. Like they starting to crack down even more. So now they're trying to put a policy that if you aren't updated with your vaccines, that you can be imprisoned. Like you can go to prison. And people are like, what's going on? It's 2023 now. Like the science is out.
Yep. It's crazy. No.
And this is in Canada. So it's a little worrisome. How is this even a conversation?
Yeah, we're on the roller coaster of crazy. And so like Billy was saying, unless we have this kind of detector inside of ourselves that's the BS detector or whatever, it's going to really understand. We need to be grounded. I think we're going to have to be more and more grounded in terms of who we really are, what is really important, the real values of the human experience of why we're here on this earth. And technology is going to go down the other road and it's just going to be
take. Exactly. Take.
A lot of people with them. To get to a few local stories here, because we seem to go right into a deep dive already, right off the bat, which is fine. I don't mind. No surprise with who I have as my co-hosts today, Billy and Nick. Last night, there was an issue downtown at the Randolph Center. You know that older building that's kind of right across from the Tim Hortons and liquor store there? It's kind of neat. But anyways, Randolph Center, there was a shooting apparently in the basement. Police came out and were kind of ambiguous with they just said, stay away from downtown last night, about 9 hours ago. Since then, they said everything is safe. It is fine, obviously. But neighbors said they heard shots. Police did not say anything about a gun, but neighbors are reporting they heard gunshots. That's all we have on that story at the moment. I wanted to get a little bit into this one. So you know the whole Laurentian University thing?
Yeah.
They're basically, the headline from Sudbury.com is Fired Profs Want Criminal Investigation of Laurentian University. 2 professors were among those terminated by Laurentian University in 2021, have penned a letter asking Ontario Attorney General's Douglas Downey to consider launching an investigation of the activities of the former LU leaders for possible legal violations. The March 5th letter to Downey was written to Eduardo Galeano Riveros.
Written by.
Oh, it was written by Eduardo Galeano Riveros and Ruben Roth, 2 of the more than 100 faculty members fired by Laurentian nearly 2 years ago as part of its insolvency restructuring. So, yeah, I guess we're going to see what's going on with that. Do you believe or do you feel there should be a criminal investigation into what happened at Laurentian? We're already asking if there should be a public inquiry. So they're 2 different things. A public inquiry is kind of like there's no real legal. It is legal, but it's not, no one's going to get apparently charged, I don't think, unless it leads to something else. And then here's a whole criminal investigation that they want to have happen.
If
so what do you think?
They did something illegal, they should be criminally charged and someone should be held accountable because something was going on. I feel something fishy was going on. Someone was probably laundering money or doing something that they shouldn't be doing. And if people are afraid of a criminal investigation, what are you afraid of? Like, if you have nothing to hide, then...
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think.
Seems to make sense.
So
Being such a big organization, a big story, there is... are there other implications of a criminal investigation that, someone could make a case for why that's not a good idea?
Right.
Is that going to be spell almost with certainty, the end of, something that's on its just teetering on the edge kind of thing.
Do you think the reputation of the university kind of thing? Is that what you're kind of leaning
That would be
towards?
one of the things, yeah.
It wouldn't help the reputation of the university. Exactly. Enrollment, hey, what university are you going to? Oh, Laurentian. Oh, that one that's being investigated for criminal activity? Oh, yeah, that one. So I think that would be a downside. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, that would be a downside. But like, so now people aren't going to be getting investigated criminally because of your reputation. Like, that's not fair.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's kind of, in my mind, one of the problems that the world has kind of gone down is like, oh, well, you can't investigate that, or you got to kind of cover that up because, people, they're going to be afraid to take this medicine if you say something bad about it, and this kind of perpetuates, you end up with a huge, too big to fail problem,
Exactly. And if you are an individual who is applying for that job and you are like the perfect candidate for that job, you're not going to let a piece of paper bring you down. You'll be like, yep, that's my university, but I am capable of doing this job because of this. It doesn't change your mindset. It doesn't change your personality. It doesn't change anything. It's just like the people that were running the show were doing illegal things, and I feel like they should be.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though. Universities do have reputations. Like if I said I just graduated from Harvard Law, or I graduated from, an online university law or whatever, it does. It's people question the integrity and things like that. Now I do have a few comments that came in about AI, and I would encourage those that are on Facebook to look at those. Just we've moved on from that at the moment, and so great comments though. So read those. Let's see where the inquiry leads to. So I think Miles is for a public inquiry first, and then go from there to see if they've kind of uncovered some stuff. And those are just shows as well. The one from the Ottawa inquiry, what happened with the Emergencies Act, was just a circus anyways. It really wasn't. It was just a for show inquiry. It was political.
Which is kind of important though.
Dumb. Good morning, Jason.
I think aside from the conclusions, people can still see, and they make determinations for themselves. And I think that I don't know if that shifted people's perspective on things, but again, you can people can take what they will from it.
See, with today's technology, couldn't you have a real public inquiry, meaning real? So you have the actual proceedings taking place, but then you have people like us, Canadians, from their devices watching, and then they make their own conclusions, like a real democracy, let's say, a real public kind of inquiry, get our input into it, and see what people kind of got out of it. Unfortunately, though, even with that, people stay political. Even if they hear a lie, they'll more or less go along with it if they vote for that person who is saying the lie. And I don't understand that kind of thinking myself. I really never have.
I think that's up to a point, though. I think there's it's not like people turn on a dime, right? It like takes a certain amount of repetition. I think this is true with any type of psychological shifting. You just basically, because there are people who are shifting positions. So, and it did take a lot to nudge them in a different direction, right?
I know, and Jason's saying the whole Chinese interference. There's lots going on in our country. Like, our country's never been as exciting. So all this criminal activity, at least it's making a lot to talk about. So thank you, our current government, for giving us so much to talk about, I guess, is one thing I'm thankful for. But Jason is saying, the review for this Chinese thing is a farce, and Trudeau is his own intelligence group. And then Miles is saying, what's a rapporteur anyways? Because they said they're going to get an independent rapporteur to look into it. RAPPA.
I heard it's French reporter. French for reporter, no?
So he has to get a French reporter to look into it? I guess. I'm not sure. Interesting.
These days, if we ever have like an online thing where you could just vote or share your opinion about a public situation, now with AI, like, we don't even know who's real.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah.
Yes. It's going to get very messy, guys. Like I'm telling you, I'm just predicting it right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go, I'm a little more on the side of Pierre, that I think technology, there'll be some amazing aspects of it. And I think the blockchain thing is going to lead to a more direct democracy. So I think the people are going to,
And I think it's going
they're going to have to fight for it. Yeah. But I think we'll be able to like wrestle more power for ourselves.
It's just the people who have the money to create such a thing want more power and want more money. So we're already doomed. Like, it's already implemented in their brain, in their code to, like...
I think we've already seen it, and we're talking about the Emergencies Act or whatever, and we saw what happened illegally. I still believe that the government went in and shut down these people's websites. No, not their websites, their bank accounts. They just went into their bank and shut it down. So that gives you a little taste of what or what they're capable of, what they do and why they do it. It's like the bully in the yard. You see what he did to the other guy over there. You don't think he's going to then, if you do the same thing to him, he's going to turn to you and try and do the same thing. That's the way he thinks. That's the way, that's his MO. That's what you challenge me, I'll shut down your bank account. So now give them AI, give them all the power to be able to do something like that. You're driving along one day and something happens, and you go into you said something on the phone that they're listening to, and you say, that Justin Trudeau is a real creepo, isn't he? And then you go into the bank, or you go into the grocery store and you go to buy something, and it says, oh, sorry, you don't have anything, you don't exist, or whatever. And you're like, what do you mean? Why? Because, again, that's the way they lash back at you. Yeah. That's the way they show that they're discontent for you.
You're talking and your phone is connected to AI, and you say a bad comment.
For sure. It's all recorded. It's recorded now, for crying out loud. How do you think Siri works? It has to be listening to you in order to respond to what you ask it, right?
But understand, okay, individually, this company here will be able to create this great thing. But compared to what all these other companies have been doing and controlling and dictating our policies and doing things, I don't think it's going to compare. I'm not going to feel the joy from this one company that didn't have to pay for coding, that didn't have to pay for marketing, and it's created a great product compared to the laws and the policies that these guys are now creating with AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still a kind of a believer that there's it's more of a faction kind of world, so it's not quite so much a monolith that there's these guys and just totally us. There is I think there's other stuff going on behind the scenes, and I think a lot of this kind of stuff that the term manufacturing consent, I feel there's almost like a lot of people in the system feel like us, and maybe a little bit of that sort of sabotaging the thing, like exposing things, so people, because I feel almost like a manufactured dissent is happening, where the people are like getting really aggravated, and it's like they want to do something, and it's like we need to, collectively figure this out and solve this technocrat problem.
For sure. Now, Jason here said he did get his bank account shut down and his credit froze and all kinds of things because he was part of the movement, right? So,
Jason, I like you.
Also Brian saying decentralized finance is the future. Imagine a credit card that pays you instead of the other way around. Well, that's an interesting comment.
That world never exists.
Now, Carrie B is saying, great comment, Billy. So you definitely have, you have the cheerleaders. Yeah, here. Technical martial law, like Pierre Trudeau told a reporter in the early 70s, watch me. Oh, yeah, when they told him that was against the law, against the FLQ, I believe it was. Yeah, exactly. Adam is saying, how can Canada be seen as anything but a dictatorship at this point? We're learning that our votes didn't matter last election and that Trudeau has sold us out to China. A lot of people in Canada, I know, feel your same sentiments, Adam. That's you don't have an uncommon point of view there at all, and that's why this whole, China meddling with our is going on now. Yesterday, I listened to the worst interview with Justin Trudeau and reporters I've ever heard in terms of, usually they go along with him or whatever. They allow him to just say his spewing out whatever he does. They said, did you or did you not know, were you briefed about the Chinese interference? And he just went on this thing. Well, Canadians and this, that, and the other. And they said, listen, Prime Minister, we're asking you a simple question. Did you or did you not know ahead of time? And he wouldn't. Oh, the Liberal Party helping Canadians. He just wouldn't stop. It was almost like he was like one of those dolls. You put a thing and he only has so many statements in him and he wind it up and he just says the same thing over and over. I never heard anything so bad than yesterday in that scrum. Terrible. Wow. And like Billy, so I'm like with Billy, do people get it? And then the guy comes on afterwards and says, well, that was Justin Trudeau speaking to reporters. In other news, they just like, yeah, that was Justin Trudeau speaking to reporters, like usual, like normal, like nothing odd about that exchange. And that's just weird. So he never answers questions. He just does not answer questions. Your leader, who is responsible for you, who apparently you voted for, but now is in question because was there interference from a foreign communist country? If there was, are we ever going to find out? Was he briefed about it? He just won't give a yes or no answer. He can't even say, yes, I was briefed, but he can't say that for some reason. I don't know. Why can't he say that? He was briefed.
Or say no. No, I wasn't briefed. Like, lie.
Yeah.
You're so good at lying. Just lie.
Yeah. Don't just keep avoiding the answer or the question.
You just look like an idiot.
His refusal of a public inquiry is an admission of guilt. That's what Adam says. And Vin says, Jody Thomas said yes. He still says no. One is lying. There you go.
So weird. I'm not seeing any of the comments on the video on my phone.
No? You usually do?
No. Yeah, like I'm watching it on my phone so I could keep track of the comments.
On Facebook?
And, on Facebook, like on my phone, on my phone.
Well, a lot of weird kind of Facebook-y things have been happening, and I won't even go into it. I could do a whole show on that stuff. Remember we talked about them shutting down different fire halls and things around town? Well, there was a fire in Whitefish. Whitefish resident concerned about fire service after he loses his home to fire. Starting over at 59 was not something Dan LeBlanc envisioned himself doing. But after a catastrophic fire destroyed his home last week, he had no choice. So could that have been solved if there was something different? So,
is this part of the article at all? He lost would hover around 350,000. The city's deputy chief put the figure about 450,000. The structure was completely lost. LeBlanc lives about 2 minutes away from the Whitefish station.
2 minutes?
Waiting for fire crews to arrive was painful. He felt helpless as he watched his house and the contents of his lifetime burn to the ground.
Mm-hmm. So the first crews were on the scene 17 minutes later. Water was first applied 25 to 30 minutes after the 911 call was made. And there's another interesting part here where I guess, I don't know if it was the volunteer stations, they didn't arrive or something.
Oh, really?
It is fully operational and responding volunteer station. Yeah.
He wonders why there was no immediate response from the Whitefish Fire Hall.
Yeah, we did have Coppercliff, Lively, Waters, Whitefish, Beaver Lake, Long Lake, and Van Horn respond to that incident. The first truck on the scene was from Lively.
Wow.
And the second apparatus from Waters. Whitefish didn't arrive till a bit later.
But the deputy fire chief said there was actually 9 active firefighters working out of the Whitefish station.
Yeah, it's an active station.
And there was 9, so they should have been on the ball. It's fully operational and responding volunteer station, he said. Over the course of the incident, 3 firefighters from that station did respond. We had one individual who responded within the first 30 minutes of
30
the incident.
minutes.
Yeah. However, it was a sporadic throughout the rest of the incident when the other two were able to respond. Yeah.
Right. And I
Ooh,
guess they need a
ouch.
minimum, right, to form
Yeah.
a crew.
Yeah. But that is interesting. They have 9 active, and he lives 2 minutes away from that particular fire hall.
And
This
he was
doesn't
saying
seem to... Go ahead.
He was just saying in the article that he was like happy that he's just so close to a station. So if anything would ever happen, he's like right there, and it's really good for your insurance policy as well.
Yeah.
You have lower insurance if you're close to a station. And they didn't show up. They weren't even the first ones to show up. It was lively.
Well, I guess if they're volunteers too, right? And I mean, everyone's got busy lives these days. That's, I wonder if that model is,
Oh, so they weren't
Not
at the
fully-
station.
is that what it means?
Well, that's
When
what
they
you're saying.
called,
Like if,
I'm thinking that they're called
right.
and asked to respond, and I guess 3 of them eventually responded. And but again, it's not like an actual station where it's like the bell goes off and
they're there.
they bolt. Yeah.
But I guess maybe the lively one is like that would be a really good question. Is the Whitefish? Do they have people there 24 hours a day? Which we know that we need more firefighters. There's a lack of, which just proves that we need more. That there should be someone there, at least 2 or 3 people full time. But I know that's expensive. But
Might need a hybrid model of that.
Yeah. Not sure what happened here. I guess it's going to be, there's going to be a follow-up story on this. Michael Vagnini, who is very outspoken on things like this, is not surprised to learn about LeBlanc's concerns. He said he worries that if the city reduces the number of fire halls as recommended, it will be a significant impact for residents, obviously. If we go down to 13 fire stations, how will we be able to provide coverage for those people in an effective way? We can show up after the flash over has occurred or once the house is gone. I'm not saying it happens every time, but those are things that scare me. But this is the thing. This happened before the fire hall was shut down. The fire hall was there. They had 9 active firefighters. They did not show up first. Lively got there first. The other Coppercliff. That's odd. So I guess they're going to look into that. Now, Miles, there's lots of comments here, so I'm going to have to go back. So many. And Belinda made a comment too. I know first time I've seen you comment, and going back to the what we talked about before, sum it up. We need parents' consent for maid. That should tell you what kind of regime we're up against. That's going back to our previous thing. We're talking about the Trudeau government and all of that. And so sorry. There's just so many comments coming in, probably about our last conversation. These fire halls don't have enough support to begin with. These volunteers may be working elsewhere at the time, correct? And they are volunteers, right? They're all volunteers.
That's the question.
Yep.
Is that Whitefish location only run by volunteers?
Yes.
Because that would answer what
They
we're
are.
wondering.
Yeah, they are.
It's
Yeah.
all volunteers.
Correct.
All right.
And but they, like I was just speaking, so then they have to, so they're working and stuff. So some people are currently working, and so they can't arrive, and then some people aren't, and they're sleeping or whatever, and they get woken up, and they have to mobilize, and they know they've done this before. It's not their first. I don't want to say
lively-
barbecue.
the
That's a
lively-
bad pun. What's that?
Yeah, nice one. The Lively location, is that all volunteers? Like the first people who showed up, is just curious to know, were they
Yes.
volunteer or they actual?
Yes, all these outlining areas are all volunteers. Correct. So I was speaking to someone who is a volunteer from Massey, and they're explaining to me how they do it. And she goes out to, I guess, maybe about, 10 calls a month at least. At least 10 calls a month.
As a volunteer.
So here we go, Natalie. We're talking about an issue that she definitely would know most about. The hybrid model isn't conducive in all outlining areas because of the low volume of calls. We need more volunteers, correct? So that there's more chance of volunteers able to attend and respond. The full-time stations are just in the core, correct? with the exception of Valterai's station, which is a hybrid and does have a high volume as well. And it's basically a city out here. You know what I mean? It's Valterai's is like, what is there, 30,000 people in the valley kind of thing? It's almost the size of North Bay. Pam says, I'm grateful for the people who do this job. Volunteer firefighters get paid, so not sure why they are called volunteers, LOL. That is true too. They are paid, but they're not. They're just paid a very low amount. Yes, rodeo is better than metaphor. Yes, thanks, Miles. Vin says the mayor said last night as well at an Onaping meeting. Okay? The mayor said this as well last night at the Onaping
The
meeting.
hybrid about Natalie's comment about the hybrid model isn't conducive.
Just, about how we're managing our emergency services around the city. So Adam says maybe we need to hire a special rapporteur to investigate. Okay, yes, that's true. Belinda says, I think they're having problems recruiting these volunteer firefighters because of the mandates. Correct. We talked about that with Natalie the other day. I think she said there were 30 or 40 volunteers that lost their positions due to that recently in the last few years. So even though these mandates are being dropped globally, the mayor in Sturgeon Falls apologized to the community for following these mandates, but yet our mayor is full on mandate. Well, yeah, for sure. There you go.
I saw a video actually from Sturgeon Falls, and they were dropping the mandates. It was a whole video about it. And then this morning, I saw this other video about in Ontario and how the Ministry of Ontario said that there was no mandates in Ontario, that they were just policy. So if you lost your job, that was your job's fault. That we were hoping that you can't just lose a job, that you could work from home. And people are like, are you serious? Are you asking us now? Are you serious?
Yeah.
There were full-blown mandates happening in Ontario, and that's what the Ministry of Health was saying.
Yeah, no, it's a legal thing. It's how you word it. So the government couldn't force anyone. They highly incentivized or told employers they should do that. Kind
They
of
had to
thing.
make a policy, I think.
Yeah.
And it was implied that the policy be
Yeah,
the mandate.
that's right. So it was a legal thing. They couldn't really do it. They couldn't say, we're forcing you, because then they're liable. They had to make the employers kind of do it for them. So that way it was a lot harder, because there's many, many, many employers out there. There's only one federal government. It's easier to have a class action lawsuit against one federal government than it is against multiple employers out there. It was a legal thing. It was just wording, word smithing. So unfortunately, that's where we're going to have to leave it here today in this discussion. There's so much more to talk about, so much more always to talk about on Sudbury News Talk. But thank you so much for commenting, everyone. Really appreciate that. And I'm sorry I didn't get to everybody's comments, because again, it's one of those shows where a lot of people were getting involved, which we appreciate. It just makes it a little harder for me. That's all.
And
So
it's always a great thing, because it means we're, getting more momentum and more people are watching. So
for sure.
It's more popular. So it's fun. It's fun to have people comment and participating in the conversation.
And a special thank you to Natalie Labby, Ward 7 counselor, who just comes out. Sometimes I think she's not listening anymore. She's too busy. She doesn't have time to listen to the show or watch the show. And then boom, she's comment right on there, just keeping us, giving us the inside scoop. So appreciate that, Natalie. Thank you very much. Sure. Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
As usual. So thanks everyone for being with us. Have a great Thursday. Looking forward to Friday and a weekend coming up tomorrow. We'll be back same time, same place. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU. Ciao, everyone. Have a great one.
Day.
Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.